What is up, everybody? We are back after the long break. Of course, it's your host, Ziah TV, and the Shizzy, aka Judah KO, aka the Shizzy. We are back with another video today. This was requested from a couple people in the comment sections before, as well as some people in the Discord. This is Young Forever.
Yeah, I've seen this one quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess it's the epilogue, Young Forever.
I think epilogue's probably the album, I would assume.
But yeah, we're super excited to be back. Obviously, he went on a long trip. He's hurting really bad. But we're here making a video for you guys, okay? Mm-hmm. So, RIP in chat for at least back.
Yeah, I mean, we got back like 2 days later. If you didn't know, if you didn't see the other video, I had to go out of town to help my grandma move up to where the state that we live in and stuff. So, it was a lot of work. She had a lot of stuff. So yeah, but I'm back. I'm excited to be back to making content. Yeah. We're going to get into everything. First thing that we got to do, though.
We have to do Patreons. Sorry we haven't been streaming, okay? We understand because he was gone and things like that, and I'm not funny by myself, so that's why there hasn't been any videos or any streams.
I'm not funny by myself. All right, so starting with Sarah Adams, loyal support to your patron.
Thank you.
Jenna, support to your patron. Kim, true support to your patron.
That's what I'm talking about.
A.B. White, support to your patron. Carol, loyal supporter. Tatiana, support to your patron. Jenny Patel, support to your patron. Carrie Darcy, loyal support to your patron. And Ayame, support to your patron. Huge thank you to everyone that came and joined us even when we didn't have content coming out. That's awesome. That's
we really appreciate it.
Good amount
and you
of
guys
patrons.
really liked I'm Fine. Like that was awesome. We got some really good feedback from you guys, as well as the spicy trivia challenge. That was a lot of fun. Not for me, but no, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
So we'll try to put some more videos out for you guys in that style, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. So if you do want to have a personal shout out, as well as if you want to pay $3 or more and get your name in the videos at the end, if you didn't know, it's at the end now, as well as like a link to private Discord, other stuff. Highly recommend you check out patreon.com/ZiahTV. A lot of really cool perks. Check that out. We do stream on Twitch, so if you want to come either, not this last Monday because I got back in really late Monday and had to basically sleep after a 12-hour drive. But, normally Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays is our schedule right now for streaming, usually around 8 to 9, somewhere between there, depending on, life, basically. So, yeah, twitch.tv/ZiahTV Gaming. There's always a link in the description as well. And if you want to support us, but you don't want to do it with money,
you can leave a like on this video, or if you want to, you can consider subscribing. And if you guys tell us that we did a bad job down in the comment section, or tell us we did a good job in the comment section, it helps us out.
Appreciate it. Share it with your friends. Share it on Twitter. All that stuff. And so we are going to jump into this, but really quick, we're going to hear a message from our sponsor. And then we'll get into the video.
Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by our friends over at Ridge Wallet.
So what I really like about the Ridge Wallet is its sleek and compact design. You can see here, it can fit all of my cards, up to 12 cards, plus it has room for cash. And look at the finish, it's absolutely beautiful.
With over 30 different designs, you can move from these outdated older wallets that take up twice the space, maybe even 3 times, and down to these more compact versions.
So if you want to get your own Ridge Wallet, make sure to go to ridge.com/ZiahTV and use the promo code ZiahTV for 10% off your entire order. Ooh, another 2016 one. Classic.
I've seen where this goes before. Where does the monster pop out? Ooh. Ooh. Cool.
음악이 내리고 나는 숨이 차 복잡해진 마음 숨을 내쉰다 오늘 뭐 실수는 없었으나 관객들의 표정은 어땠던가 그래도 행복해 난 이런 내가 됐어 누군가 소리 지르게 만들 수가 있었어 작아지지 않은 영웅들을 품에 안고 집도 downtown 빈 무대에 섰을 때 downtown 빈 무대에 섰을 때 괜한 공허함에 난 겁을 내 복잡한 감정 속에서 삶의 사선 위에서 근실이 난 더 무딘 척을 해 처음도 아닌데 익숙해질 법한데 숨기려 해도 그게 안돼 텅 빈 무대가 식어갈 때쯤 빈객석을 뒤로 하네 지금 나 외로워하네 완벽한 세상은 없다고 자신에게 말해 난 점점 날 비워가네 언제까지 내 거일 순 없어 큰 박수갈채가 이런 내게 말을 해 뻔뻔히 네 목소리를 높여 더 멀리 영원한 관객은 없대도 난 노래할 거야 오늘의 나로 영원하고파.
Stop right before we get into the chorus. We'll go back and stuff. I just didn't want to interrupt it too much. This right here is so cool because, you know, especially at the beginning, I believe it was RM, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was RM kind of at the beginning. And what he was describing is what I would imagine what it would have felt like when they started having mainstream success, getting into that mainstream success era of BTS.
Yeah.
You know, like saying like, you know, like they have like all this pressure and stuff and like, you know, even if I messed up today, I'm out of breath and stuff, having all this like weight of the world on their shoulders, but he's like, you know, I still step out onto that stage. I still like, you know, the fact that I can like my words or, you know, whatever the phrasing was can like make all these people scream and like I'm like on this hot stage and stuff like that. I think that's really cool because like, you know, it shows like that coming out into like the mainstream and coming out as like this like what we see is like the super successful or the start of the super successful side of BTS and kind of like the feelings that they were feeling, or maybe just RM. I'm sure that applies probably to more than one member, you know, of getting into that and what it feels like, you know what I mean?
Really like that,
and so I think that's really cool. I think it's a really cool insight into that side.
Yeah, so me hearing this, right, I thought of it as him describing, and this I guess would apply to most artists, right? So every person's time in the spotlight is just that, right? So it's the time that the curtains rise, right, and the performance starts to the point that the curtain comes down and then the performance stops, right? That's what he's describing here. The curtain's coming down, right? And it's really awesome to see that, like, he understands that there's something outside of that, right? But he cares mostly about that performance and mostly that, like, that the people, like the audience, the army, right? Everybody enjoyed the performance he put on, and it's his whole life as a performer, right? Is on stage, it's out there for everybody. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to point out is like, you know, going along with what you're saying, like I mean that it shows right here. I wonder if I messed up today. It's like that thing. It's like that clip we saw of Jimin where, you know, he said I think he said his voice cracked or whatever, and he was so disappointed in himself and like almost like crying or whatever because like he felt like he like let people down, and stuff, and everyone's like, no, like you're good, you're great, and stuff, you know, and the fans are understanding too, you know what I mean? But like when you're a content creator of any type, musician, video, posting on OnlyFans, your booty, you are critical of your own work. You are your worst critic for sure. 100%. You know what I mean? So like you're going to be incredibly hard on yourself as compared to, I think, what some of the fans, not all the fans, because there's some extremists out there that will absolutely judge you for certain things, you know what I mean, regardless. It's gonna happen. So I think that like all of this, like this encompassing idea, like the topic that they're talking about and like what this is a really, really cool insight into that side.
And I think it applies to us as well, right? Like, so our curtain would be turning the camera on, turning the lights on, right? Absolutely. And press and record, and you guys see 100% of our performance, right? Everything's out there for you guys to judge, and you make your own,
because you guys are watching to the end of the video.
Damn right. but like that's exactly like kind of like what they're portraying here, right? And then like they're being like, I do not want to disappoint. I think is really, really powerful. I love J-Hope's line here, right? Like this whole part was just like, it was so empowering, and like to build up to the course of it, I'm really excited to see kind of like the drop and what happens. So I'm gonna play it right back from here.
언제까지 내 거예요 순 없어 큰 박수가 제가 이런 내게 말을 해 뻔뻔히 네 목소리를 높여 더 멀리 영원한 관객은 없대도 난 노래할 거야 오늘의 나로 영원하고파 영원히 소년이고 싶어 나 Forever we are young 나리는 꽃잎이 사이로 헤매어 달린 내 mirror Forever 넘어져 다치고 아파도 끝없이 달린 내 꿈을 향해 Forever, ever, ever, ever 꿈, 희망, 정치 Forever, ever, ever We are young
I'm sorry, I gotta stop it for a second. I love this idea of trying to immortalize themselves through music and through their expressions.
Yeah.
And tying into like kind of like I believe it was J-Hope's line. It was like, I'm becoming emptier and emptier, right? And like I just hope that it like lasts. I love that. I love this idea that he's pouring more and more of himself out there for like the fans or like everyone to experience
into his craft.
Yeah, into his craft, right? And he's just hoping. I think the line was, I know there's no everlasting fans, but it's like ARMY and like everyone who supports BTS, ARMY or not, right, kind of understand that they have done this amazing thing. And this is a fear they had back in 2015-16, I think, right?
Yeah.
So for them to beat 2021 Billboard top charting for 9 weeks, I'm gonna misquote that again, but they've just done such an insane job pushing themselves out there in front of everybody, right? And then being held onto by their fans and immortalized by their fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, adding on to kind of what you were saying before, this is a really, really powerful song for multiple reasons. And I think that one of the coolest things about this song is the fact that it can apply to anyone who wants to be a content creator of any type.
Yeah.
You know, and so tying it into ourselves, let's start there. Tying it into us for personal experience.
What do we get out of this? Yeah.
You know, this song and the worries and things that they're describing, I know I've had multiple times. We've had conversations. We've had entire business meetings about it.
Yeah, even taking a week off, I'm like, are we going to fall out? Or are people going to come back and watch our videos?
You know,
it's a concern. It's a fear.
It is. It's a real concern. When you start getting any type of success as a content creator of any type, you know, music, whatever, you do have that fear of like, how long will this last? Yeah. Is this just like a fluke? Is it just like my 5 minutes in the spotlight?
Did I earn this? Yeah.
Yeah. You like, will people like, yeah, they came back for that video. Will they come back for the next one? Will they move on to something else? You know what I mean? Like, you always have like this fear, and I feel like any content creator does that. Like, at what point will I no longer be relevant?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and the matter of the fact is that there will come in time where even if you do immortalize yourself, it's going to be hard to hear for some people. But even if like BTS, you, anybody else, your favorite content creator of any type, immortalizes themselves, eventually they will almost be forgotten by history. Not 100%, you know, because we have enough technology where you can still go back and watch it, but they're not going to be relevant to the mainstream anymore.
Yeah, and I think the other side of that is, it's like the Batman quote, right? Either you die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? And I'm going to take a shot here, okay? Because, I mean, we've kind of talked about this off camera, right? But this is just a personal opinion, right? This is not reflecting on anything else. But I think that PewDiePie, right? PewDiePie has been the number one biggest streamer or YouTuber for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But his content has kind of shifted and changed, and like, I don't enjoy watching him anymore, right? So he's no longer somebody I watch, but millions of people still watch him and still like love his videos and things like that, right? But that's the kind of idea we're talking about, right? Like, it is as you go and like as you become popular or like mainstream or whatever, right? There's always that fear that like, I'm going to become irrelevant.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that BTS will become irrelevant based off of their actions. And I don't think that in our lifetimes, everyone watching this right now, BTS will be forgotten by history or become irrelevant. I'm saying after all of the members have passed, after all of us have passed and our generation is over, and this whole like thing that we have with BTS and stuff now, while they're still performing and eventually, you know, again, hard to hear, but they're gonna die off. You know, we're all gonna die off, and like, like it does, like you know, and that's what this is. Is like, I wish I could stay forever young. They even talk about it because, like, I think another thing that they're touching on, it was a very subtle thing, but they weren't just talking about what if we become irrelevant or the fear of that. They were saying that eventually we won't be able to do this anymore because we'll, like, you know, we'll get too old. Like we will lose our physical capability to perform and sing and do that stuff. And it's like they just hope that they leave the mark they wish they would want to leave on the earth. You know?
And they've left such a good positive message that I think that will continue on forever.
Oh, absolutely.
We hope that like their songs, they just one, like the self-love album, right? Like everything to help people, I hope gets immortalized. And then like even like I got raised by my dad on like old 90s rock, and I still go back and listen to it, right? Because like that's what I remember listening to as a kid, right? Yeah. And so I hope that this music helps children that will one day be able to pass down to their children, right?
Yeah, we don't really think about it, but that's exactly right. There will be people that will go back and be like, oh man, that was like 2010, 2020s BTS. Yeah, my granddad used to listen to that. Yeah, those are the old schools. Those are the classics.
Shizzy over there.
You know what I mean? And that's what it'll become. Because again, they won't be mainstream anymore. And I'm not saying they're going to be completely forgotten, but your time in the spotlight, just like you're saying, will come and it will go. It doesn't matter how big you are. And it's no disrespect to BTS, but it's the fact that eventually...
time is the most unstoppable force.
Yeah, eventually their time will pass. And it's not because of anything they did. It's simply the fact that, well, eventually they're going to have to pass on. They are going to have to leave this earth.
Yeah.
They will no longer be able to make music from then, and other
I don't know. I think Jimin will find a way to transcend death. But I really like this. I really like this right here, right? Wandering through the maze of life, right? Like, what a beautiful picture to have, right? Yeah. So as a content creator, right, as you just saw, we have little obstacles that happen that make us or take away from our craft or take away time from what we need to do and things like that, right? And them being like, hey, there are struggles in life that will stop us from doing this or will like cause obstacles.
Get in our way, whether it's temporary or not.
Yeah, and we've seen that, but we've also seen how much that's actually improved BTS and improved their music, and their hardships and their struggles have led to some of the most banger songs they've put out, which I love.
Obstacles and adversity is where you get to grow your character and as a person.
Yeah.
And that's why they're absolutely vital.
Yeah. But this is awesome. This is a great message.
Oh, yeah.
Good one.
나리는 꽃잎들 사이로 헤매어 달린 내 힘으로 Forever we are young 넘어져 다치고 아파도 끝없이 달린 내 꿈을 향해 Forever
Cool. All right, I'm sorry. I just want to touch on the imagery of them being on a airstrip real quick, right? I love that, like, because when you think of like an airstrip, right, you think of like a runway, right? You think of like a plane taking off and traveling, right, and going to a new destination. And I just love them like running along it and being like, hey, at some point we have to go to a different destination. I love that. I just want to touch on it real quick. Okay.
It's really cool.
It's beautiful. Yep.
Yeah. That was amazing. A beautiful message on all accounts. You know, like it really was incredible. And I know that like maybe I don't sound like it, doesn't reflect on my face. It's just because I'm extremely tired. My body is so sore and I'm like using all my energy right now. But like honest to God, like that was amazing because it has an amazing message in it, and it keeps things very realistic. It looks at themselves, but the situation in general as a very realistic tone. Yeah, you know, and it's something that a lot of people, maybe some diehard fans, like need to accept too. Is the fact that, you know, as much as we want BTS to be around forever, and they will be around for a very long time.
There will be a last song.
There will be a last song.
Last performance.
And eventually there probably will be generations that don't know BTS. Yeah. You know? And again, that's not going to happen in our lifetime, really. Yeah. I mean, maybe the last song or last performance might happen in some of our lifetimes, but, you know, at the end of the day, you have to accept that fact and just enjoy it while it's there.
Exactly. And it's like the idea of a flower, right? Like a flower comes and blossoms and it's beautiful, and then like the petals fall, and that's how it goes, right? You have to enjoy it in the moment, okay? Yep. And we are truly blessed to be able to live in a generation with such amazing music, right? Like we've had some really good bangers.
As much as people hate on music nowadays, mainstream music nowadays, it's information bias because you are only looking at what you want to look at, because there is still a ton of amazing music that comes out nowadays, regardless of what anyone says. Yes, of course there's bad people, but people act like there wasn't people that were making trash songs back in the 80s, back in the 90s.
Well, I watched this really funny TikTok, and it was like talking about how like everyone looks at like like WAP and Anaconda, and they're like, oh, music is so dirty nowadays, right? And it's like, if you look at like Pumped Up Kicks, it's literally about a school shooting. Like, you guys want to talk about like inappropriate music?
A girl talking about how she has good pussy, or you know, shooting up a school. I don't know which one you would prefer. I think that there's clearly probably one that's a little bit better at least.
I think the Macarena, I don't know Spanish, right? But I believe the Macarena translates to a story about a girlfriend who her boyfriend cheated on her with 2 different girls at the same time or something like that. The Macarena, a dance we teach at like little kid parties, okay? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I think it's crazy. I think
it is. It's a weird thing that we see nowadays, and plus a lot of people have that herd mentality. So once that opinion starts becoming a little bit popular online, there's so many people that just follow afterwards. But what I want to end with, going back to the reaction on, is I want to end it with a quote from Kindred. If you don't know Kindred is a character in League of Legends, and they basically they represent the end of life. This character represents the end of life. They're the one that comes and takes life away.
We're not talking about Kendrick Lamar, by the way.
Yeah, not Kendrick Lamar. Kindred, come to them, Kindred Spirits. Really cool. Probably one of the best designed characters, I think, like lore-wise from that game. I think that's just cool. Really cool. But they say that nothing in life lasts forever. And that is why it is beautiful. That is why beauty is allowed to exist. Because, and it's true, the reason why we're able to appreciate things and appreciate the beauty of things is because we know that one day that beauty will be gone. You won't appreciate something. You don't think about it. How much do you really appreciate the things that you feel like will be around forever, as compared to the things that are temporary? Yeah,
it's very, very true. And it's so hard because like we take advantage of a lot of things. And
we take stuff for granted all the time.
My big bombshell for this, right, is I think positive messages last longer than negative messages. And I know that history kind of swaps on that, right? But through music, I think that the most powerful music has always been more positive, right? Like Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, right? Which is a really good song that has lasted a long time, right? Just some really, really good positive messages.
Man, what's that one that everyone sings? Oh, Don't Stop Believing?
Yeah, exactly, right?
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's that positive message that BTS continues to include in their music will last, right? And
absolutely.
I think that's the best takeaway.
Negative messages, I feel like, have a more immediate impact on our world and hit harder immediately, which is why they seem more prominent.
To get a reaction.
But they normally will not. They will be outlasted by positive messages in most cases.
Absolutely.
So, but I think that's really cool. Really amazing. Glad to be back. Glad you guys are here joining us today. It was amazing. We had a really good conversation today. So I hope you enjoyed that section, our TED Talks and everything like that. Really appreciate every single one of you for being here since you're making it to the end of the video, because again, you're watching to the end because you're an awesome, amazing fan and, friend. Go ahead and leave this emoji down below. Let us know where the real fans/friends are at. And we will see you in the next one. Your man better step up. Matter of fact, better just watch from my checkup. Matter of fact, better just stop and flex up. Matter of fact, just know I'm finna blow. Wait, hold up, is it too late? Just set the record straight.